Hello, this is James Rivera, and we're starting week 1 of the argument paper unit. So this lecture is going to be pretty short, and it will cover the argument paper, what work you'll be doing in it, and how to get started on it. So the paper guidelines you're going to have to follow that you'll find in your learning management system is follow MLA style, Times New Roman 12-point font, double spaced with 1-inch margins. It should be 3 to 5 pages long. Similar to the synthesis paper, it's going to incorporate at least 2 other sources from the Kirkman Reader about the same topic and try to be exactly about the same topic. This isn't a thematic paper. So if you're writing about, say, global warming, find 2 sources about global warming. However, unlike the synthesis paper where you're just trying to present background information, this time you're going to be focused on arguing your own thesis about a topic. And your thesis should be distinct from and written in response to your sources. So you need to think about both of those things, okay? You have to argue your own thesis, and your idea has to be different from your source's ideas, but it has to be in response to your source's ideas. So this is somewhat of a different paper, even though it's starting off the way the synthesis paper starts. Okay. So like the synthesis paper, you're going to start off the same way. You're going to select a general disciplinary area from the Kirkman Reader. You're going to select a topic within that discipline. You're going to select at least 2 articles within that topic. And then you're going to want to outline the articles. You need to identify their main idea and argument. And you need to be familiar enough with the articles to summarize them completely. And then after you've thoroughly familiarized yourself with the articles, you need to form a position in response to that main idea, but distinct from it. Both of their main ideas. All right, so the first thing you need to do if you're presenting an argument of your own is you need to make a clear and distinct claim of your own about the topic that you've chosen. So in order to do that, you might need to provide some background information. You might do a little bit of synthesizing, just like you did in your synthesis paper. You'll present background information about your topic, and you will explain what your sources say about your topic and explain the differences involved, the ideas involved. And then you'll present your own idea that's distinct from, but in response to your sources on that same topic, okay? And a claim in an academic paper, it should be arguable. You shouldn't just be stating a fact, stating a preference, or it shouldn't be too obvious, okay? So you need to distinguish between support for your claim, which are facts and evidence, things like that, and your claim itself, okay? It shouldn't be something that no one would disagree with. That's not a meaningful claim. And it shouldn't be something that no one should disagree with. So if I were to ask you, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream, and someone were to say vanilla, I'm not going to come back with, no, that's wrong, because that's just a preference, okay? A claim is a statement that you believe should be binding in some sense on another person. It should have truth value, like they should accept it as true, or in some way, shape, or form, okay? And there are many different kinds of truths. I mean, there are truths about material reality, there are truths about how we should or should not be treating each other, and so on, okay? But the claim that you're making is something that someone else might need to be talked into accepting, okay? That's a meaningful claim. So one way to identify that is it should be dividable into at least a pro and a con position, for or against, and it should be supported by reasons or at least a reason. And it should also be supported by background information or evidence. Okay, this all sounds like logos from your rhetorical analysis paper. That's because it is. What you're doing in this argument paper essentially is bringing together everything that you've learned throughout the semester and practicing it yourself and presenting your own argument. So since you're arguing at least a pro or a con position related to a topic, you need to carefully consider other positions. Okay, so you have to fairly in a neutral tone summarize those other positions and give reasons for them. State their claims and their reasons briefly. Okay, you don't want to do full page summaries of your two sources in a 3 to 5 page paper. Okay, it should be about a paragraph or 2 or 3 sentences at least, but it should follow the conventions of summary writing. So again, you're bringing in what you've learned earlier in the semester into this paper. Okay. And you'll follow those conventions. You'll be fair and neutral and impartial while you're summarizing these other positions. And after you've done that, then you want to state your claim and your reasons. And you also want to fairly consider objections to your position too. And if you remember, those were counter arguments when you're doing the logos analysis. All right, so to get started on this paper, you want to pull up the Kirkman Reader. I have links in the discussion forum, and start browsing a disciplinary area. All right, write about, find an area that's interesting to you. Okay, and then do some free writing. Write out everything you think you know about that area or the main things you know about it. And then write out what interests you about that area. And then write out what you want to say about that area. And then look for other essays that are close to your interests or ideas. Read them and think about your position in relationship to those ideas. So maybe, there's these two articles or essays that you find that you really agree with. Think about what you want to add to the conversation. You don't want to just restate in this paper your agreement with someone else's position. You want to add to it some way. You want to take it a step farther somehow. You want to explain how it applies in this different area that they didn't apply it to. But you need to establish some difference between your ideas and your sources. And that difference is your thesis, okay? So just to summarize, you're gonna find a disciplinary area, find a couple of articles related to it, figure out what they're really saying, and then think about what you want to say that adds to that conversation, okay? So I want you to really see how this paper, even though it's short, it's going to involve every single task you've practiced this semester. You're going to have to summarize other positions, like in your summary paper. You're going to have to synthesize those positions into some background information to help your readers understand the context for your argument. You're going to have to apply your own ethos, pathos, and logos in your presentation of your argument so that you sound like a trustworthy person, and so that you're making appropriate emotional appeals if they apply. I would say all academic papers have some level of emotional appeal. Even a straight up scientific paper could appeal to the emotion of curiosity, okay? But you don't want to overdo emotional appeals in academic papers. But you're certainly going to rely on what you learned about logos, stating a claim, providing reasons, supporting evidence, and identifying counterarguments, understanding your assumptions. So that summary, synthesis, and analysis you practiced, you're going to all do it on your own in this paper. Okay, and this is the last paper you're going to write this term. So I want to emphasize in every unit, work through it one step at a time. Carefully read all the materials. Don't just jump into the graded work. Read all the lectures, watch all the videos. Make sure you understand the concept. And then follow the instructions, take the quizzes, and do the writing tasks. And that's how you can be most successful in this class. And above all, if you have any questions, email me. And if you need to talk, we can arrange a phone call or a Skype session or a Zoom session or something like that. Okay? Remember, I'm here to help.